Hey guys, TomBoy601, and today we're taking a look at the all-new campaign ship, the good old Tulsa. And I have to say, I think Tulsa is a fine boat. I think she does what she does. But I feel like Wargaming may have done her a bit of a disservice releasing her alongside Salem, because well, Salem is cranked and Tulsa gets a little bit getting used to. So, what is Tulsa? Well, it's an American heavy cruiser, and it plays pretty much like any other American cruiser. I believe it's a South Dakota class cruiser. Is that a thing? Basically, the same thing that Rochester was, the upgraded Baltimore, except they were like, well, let's go ahead and take the turrets that ended up getting designed for Des Moines and try to squeeze them into that sort of Baltimore style hull. And well, they weren't able to fit all three guns that you get in a Des Moines or anything like that. They were only able to get two of them. So we get three double turrets of good old American heavy cruiser firepower. And you know, it is absolutely fine. It is exactly what you would kind of expect a -1 turret Des Moines to perform like. Still pretty effective, but markedly less effective than than when it would have all of its turrets, and that's okay. Because Tulsa does make up for it in sort of its other traits. Mainly speaking, it's going to be that radar, because Tulsa does have a unique radar. It's the standard 9 kilometer range that you expect from the Americans. However, it is a very long duration of 36 seconds. Yeah, a long time for that radar to be up, and it's very effective even when working with your team, because well, now that we have that sort of 5 second delay on your radar when you ping someone else, this does get pretty useful and pretty spicy. So as you can see, we're using that radar right now. We didn't initially have Nostrashemi within our radar range, and we are now spotted as we are using our radar to get that Nostrashemi just off the map, and we have a gross Gunfus in the middle, and we can go ahead and see what the AP performance is like. It's what you would expect. It's American 203. Like, it performs, it slaps. You just have a markedly lower amount of shells firing downrange. I will say, Tulsa does seem to have a bit extra grouping. Like, I feel like she's a little bit more accurate than like Des Moines or Salem are, and I think that kind of helps with the fact that you have so few shells firing downrange. But it does mean you don't really rack up the huge damage numbers in this boat. It is unlike a lot of the American boats, it is much more of a support cruiser, just because you don't have that DPM to really lean on like you do with those other vessels. So you are much more reliant on kind of being there, trying to outlast, having that radar survive until all of the destroyers on the enemy team are gone. That is your primary goal in Tulsa. And yes, you can do that in the other American boats, but that seems to be very much the design direction that the devs went with Tulsa. Because as you can see, we are 10 minutes in. We're just passing 60,000 damage. We are not having a barn burner of a game, but we have been, cycling the guns fairly often, right? We've been keeping up with the amount of damage that we've been trying to put out, but there just isn't a ton of DPM, which I feel like people are going, especially now, are going to kind of discount this ship for. What I will say, I did not have a legendary mod on it. I probably could have put a legendary mod on it, which means every kill I get an extra 5%, and I get more reload. And I think this is going to be the problem with ships moving forward, especially in the tier 7, tier 8 legendary tier, is if you want to get the full performance out of the boat, Maybe some of these ships end up getting designed around that idea that, the performance will increase over time of the match and they'll be balanced as so. And right now, Tulsa, if you don't have that factor, like I said, you don't have the DPM. You just don't. And that's okay. That's fine. I think as far as a campaign ship goes, like if this wasn't the American Cruiser update and we didn't have Salem, and the seas weren't chock full of them, I think I'd be enjoying Tulsa. I feel like Tulsa is what I would expect the tech tree line to be. I know Buffalo isn't quite that. I don't have Buffalo or I don't have Buffalo purchased given the cost restraints of Tier 8. But Tulsa feels like that middle ground. If I went, it feels like it could have been the tech tree ship of first you get Baltimore, then you get Tulsa, then you get Des Moines. That's what it feels like. So I think it fits in well. I think it's a fine campaign ship. It's nothing special, but you're gonna have fun with it. I think you're gonna enjoy it. But that's sort of Tulsa. Anyways, let's get to the game. As you can see, we now have a swarm of individuals pushing towards their cap. The enemy team has been sort of whittled down at this point. They're down to a Worcester, a Shimakaze, and 2 battleships off on the flank. And it looks like our teammates are choosing just to ignore those 2 battleships as we push into their base to try to eliminate the rest of them. You can see we are desperately trying to get some shells to land on the Shimakaze. And, well, we are pursuing the Worcester as well. I am a little cautious on Worcester because he could, if you wanted to, be a little bit of a trouble. But I think just the sheer number of ships we have out here means Worcester won't be lasting long as we begin our push into the cap. We can see the cap is contested, so we know Shima is still somewhere within the cap. I don't want to quite burn the radar as of yet, but I am going to go ahead and activate the sonar. We see where the smoke lies. He's sitting at 9, and well, he's sitting at 9, which means we can go ahead and pop the radar, and well, he's not going to last much longer now that he is on the radar. At least I don't think he will. We'll see. The rest of the team starts to chime in, and well, I think that will be all for that poor Shima Lepanto with those crazy secondaries. Anyways, so those 2 ships knocked out. We're gonna go ahead set up in the cap and try to start angling in case those 2 battleships decide to come on through. But beyond that, that's kind of the match all but wrapped up. And this is kind of the game you would expect to play in Tulsa, right? I know Aaron got like a ridiculous game in Tulsa, and I'm sure it will be up. Go check out his video. He had an insane video in Salem with crazy XP numbers. So expect there will be those crazy games. But overall, I think Tulsa is a fine boat. It is fine. It is 66% a Des Moines, and that's all it really needs to be. That's all it needs. It kind of has to perform as, and well, yeah. Like I said, I don't think there's much. There's a reason we're not doing the usual full review of Tulsa. Like I don't feel inspired by this boat at all. It just is, as this rubric just melts. We finally, we get our first kill of the match. Look at that. As the enemies have this one final battleship, Frederick de Gross. Let's see what we can do. But yeah, it's fine. But guys, if you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.